Hi, my name is Megan Malick. I call myself the accidental matriarch, and I am the founder of a new path. I help heart-led and intuitive Gen X, Millennial, uh, and Gen Z, well, really anybody in the sandwich generation. And I specifically help them with emergency end-of-life planning, legacy planning, conversations, hard conversations about all of this, and the grief that comes along with after loss paperwork. I'm a big believer that we have a lot of emotion and invisible, implicit belief system that goes around all of the paperwork. And one of my missions is to help make this process clear. I educate, I empower, I support. And so I'm on here today because I believe that there is currently a bill in the United States Congress that actually touches upon this world of paperwork that I deal with, and that is HR 22. It is a bill that deals with the paperwork that you're going to need to prove that you are who you are. So the bill's intention is to guarantee that those who are citizens are the only folks that vote in U.S. federal elections. And you're probably saying, well, yes, of course. And I'm on here because I've learned through my experiences that even though you are who you are, you may not have the paperwork to prove that you are who you are. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about what this bill could be. I'm going to talk a little bit about steps you can take and how you can talk with your closest ones to just be curious about this. All right, so HR 22 looks like it could make it more difficult for folks who've changed their name or that their name is different than their birth certificate in the registering to vote or the voting process. And so this would be many women who are married and have changed their name. It could be elderly folk who may not have real ID and any other of paperwork that currently is required. How do I know this? Well, first I know it because my mother was born in Wellington, Kansas. She married my dad um, and changed her last name. They lived in Pennsylvania. And so when she went to do some passport applying, and I don't remember exactly when this was, 10 years ago about, there was a whole rigmarole that she had to do because her passport had expired. She needed to get a new one, and the birth certificate that she had wasn't one that was authorized for this process. So she actually needed to go to Kansas to get that. And so she had the ability to do that and was able to. It was an extended time. I know it from being the person that was administering both my parents' estates and having to prove my identity and my parents' identity and disclosing paperwork and putting it forward. And the fact that in Pennsylvania, our driver's licenses aren't considered real ID. I do have a passport, and so I ended up utilizing my passport. Now, I kept my maiden name. So my birth certificate, my passport, and my driver's license all have the same name. And yet many of the people that I serve and or the elders that they're caring for have different last names. And this bill could affect that. So I also want to honor that you may want to do your own research. That's why I am posting in the links below a PDF to the bill as it's currently been presented to the US Congress. So what else can you do about this? You could check and see if you have an updated passport and start applying for that. And I will post a link to that. You can reach out to your legislators to ask them questions, right? You don't only get to call legislators when you say, I want you to do something. You can also ask them things. And so I'm going to post a link to something called 5 Calls. And a lot of that has scripts for calling if you're advocating for wanting people to vote for or against something. But it also is just a way that streamlines who are your legislators and how can you be in contact with them. If you would want to advocate, there are scripts there for you to do that. But again, I am not on here to tell you what to do about a thing. I'm simply trying to raise awareness about something that's going on that I could see having longer range implications. And then when you're in an emergent situation for yourself or those nearest and dearest to you, the last thing you're going to be wanting to do is try to worry about this. Or as you're getting ready to go um, use your voting rights or you want to enact those rights, and it's in that moment, those are not the moments that you want to be worrying about this. So we want to kind of just have some advanced notice. I also am here to encourage you to talk with those nearest and dearest to you about this and just be curious. Where does their paperwork stand? What are their thoughts about this? How can we connect together? I deeply believe that most of us really want to have important conversations about what really matters with those we care about. And so I'm also posting a link to a PDF that I created about how to begin having these hard conversations. It's specifically geared toward end of life and emergency planning. And I think you can apply it to this area as well. The 5 steps to kind of just get clear before you go into a conversation, picking a small area, getting very clear about concrete details, practicing good communication skills, and modeling by doing some of our own work. Anyway, this is an informational piece about something that's happening right now in February 2025 in the US Congress, some places to go for information, and some ways to support you with taking steps. Please know that you are not alone. May you be safe. May you be well. Blessings, peace, and namaste.